Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Hard Rock Hotel Casino here in Atlantic City, New Jersey, where tonight, Main Events is proud to present a World Championship doubleheader in the light heavyweight division. And now, let's get this party started! 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA Light Heavyweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, he's wearing gold trimmed with black. In his corner is his trainer, Roy Jones Jr. His professional record, 25 victories, including 10 big wins by knockout, 5 defeats, 2 draws from Blantyre, Malawi. He is the challenger, Isaac Golden Boy Chilemba. And his opponent, across the ring, fighting out of the red corner with his trainer, Gennady Mashionov. Wearing black with red, his record, a perfect one. 13 fights, 13 victories, including 11 wins by knockout from St. Petersburg, Russia. He is the reigning, defending, undefeated WBA Light Heavyweight Champion of the World, Dmitry Bivol.
Okay, seconds out. Chief seconds, fighter, center of the ring, please. All right, gentlemen, we've been over the rules earlier. Most important, protect yourself at all times, obey my commands at all times, and give me a good, clean break. Mouthpiece. Mouthpiece. Touch gloves, good luck.
Isaac Chilemba is a good fighter, a world-class fighter, a contender. Coming in as the opponent, he is in tonight against Dmitry Bivol, Jim, who is trying to become one of the elite fighters in the sport. And he may already be there in skill and in talent, if not in resume.
At the voice, of course, of the omnipresent Max Kellerman. Millions of people in America now hear it every single weekday in their living rooms. Max, we saw the reach advantage and functional weight advantage coming in for Chilemba. How can he use them? Right cross upstairs, and now a hard body shot as well. So early on, Chilemba, exactly, and you just saw the hard left hook for Bivol in that last exchange, and already was for Kovalev if ultimately they meet, and you can see it. He's bouncy, he's athletic.
That is so rare, of athletically gifted and also highly skilled. Athletic fighter who's supremely skilled.
Kyrgyzstan to Russia as a young boy, and he says, I'm a Russian. I am culturally Russian. I am raised Russian. To fight an opponent who isn't a Russian. But in this division,
you want it, he'll give it to him.
You're doing great. Everything is great. Your head movement is great.
Chilemba is the unorthodox, tricky guy, Jim, right, who can destroy your timing. Yet look what Bivol does with that hook change. And here the right hand over the top, he disguises it as though he's shooting it to the body, able to improvise.
And you pointed out the problem early on. What does Chilemba have in the way of firepower to keep Bivol off of him?
Mind works quickly. And that's trouble for a boxer like Chilemba, who needs to outthink his opponent, and there, that hook hurt.
Punching by the young champion, who seems to know exactly what he's doing.
Well, there's a feeling.
Chilemba now trying to use his very good jab to create some space. And as I'm all Russian, the fact is, in terms of training, he is a Los Angeles fighter. And Legends, where there are outstanding sparring partners, he gets the work that he needs.
He lures Chilemba into throwing it, but he's really out of punching range with his legs. All he has to do is make a... Chilemba's bounces. Bivol comes in and rakes him with a leg. Showing superior timing, rhythm.
Another hard left hook for Bivol.
Passing.
Time!
And now it has that too. Here's the left hook that Bivol hurt him with. It was land, and yet it did damage. And what that tells you, Jim, is if Bivol lands his Sunday best early.
In the first 2 rounds here, Chilemba has landed in 20 consecutive rounds, dating back to...
Because this...
them all. So among other things, his reflexes are remarkable.
And watch how he takes that little bounce in, and he...
Dmitry Bivol.
even when shot.
Right hand lands upstairs. Left hook lands upstairs. These are all laying a big price just to make it through the first 3 rounds against Dmitry Bivol.
Rounded at times.
Time!
In his career, and how much commitment can he bring to it?
Don't give up so much. You tell him, give him so many big shots. Control, all right? On his head a little bit. You feel me? And remember, he attack.
I got the buckets wet.
Here's the fight in microcosm. Bivol punches Chilemba in the face with a compliment.
Let's check in with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman. Harold, how do you...
Okay, Jim, I got a 30-27, 3 rounds to nothing, Dmitry Bivol.
Unsided, although I agree with Harold, not yet to the point of 10-8.
Jim, I don't mean by CompuBox.
But for instance, by CompuBox count, 7 lands in the last round. That's 21 consecutive rounds. Hook on Isaac Chilemba.
Yeah, like that jab that Chilemba threw. You want to say it grazed Bivol? Okay, actually.
In this weight class, Bivol was celebrated, was nurtured by the federation.
See Kovalev in a little while. In tough against Alvarez. I mean, that's a... But he's better than this.
Four rounds good. Just trying to keep his thumb in the dike against Dmitry Bivol as Sergey Lev smiles in his dressing room while the left glove is being applied. Situation. So let's check back in with Harold for his scoring through 4. Harold?
Okay, Jim, I got him 40-36, Dmitry Bivol. You know, Jim, he's landed a tremendous left hook. He's doing it with the left hook, and that's doing most of the damage in this fight so far. You know, he throws combinations. He's got a left hook that he throws. You know, he leads with the left hook, and it's doing a tremendous...
Can he make a beautiful fight? Not just a dominant fight, but a fight, the kind of fight people remember. And
right. How about Michael Spinks?
Michael Spinks was fast and just an enormous puncher at light heavyweight.
After the kind of fusillade he's taken early on, particularly from Bivol's left hook. Out punchers whose major weapon was really the left hook.
Sure, the crooked punch. But my eye, Jim, every actual punch, flush punch that he's landed has occurred in this. I wonder if that is an indication that Bivol is now putting the defense away.
5 rounds in.
Fucking champ to me, you feel me? You look at fucking champ. You now have control. Now we just want to. Because this is round 6 coming. So now it's our time to start taking over. Now we start doing more shit.
More positive outlook to Isaac Chilemba, and I think it was well timed in the sense that agree that Chilemba's had a good round. That was definitely it.
The job of a trainer who's usually also the quicken in the corner of fight night. Obvious. Their first, camp.
Cutman, whom you heard yelling, "Fight this guy," is Russ. Sometimes when trainers aren't around to train the fighter, Amber will do that in the gym.
Chilemba, because even though it opens him up for exchanges where Bivol's very dangerous.
I wonder why Dmitry Bivol doesn't fire a rocket right hand right across the top.
I have a feeling one of them, if he wants to make a beautiful fight, I think now has to step up the intensity. Total dominance.
September 5, it's the return of my show, The Fight Game. Has landed 53% of his power shots. Many times over this, we've told you, if somebody lands more than 50% of his power shots, he has practically no chance whatsoever to lose the fight. And Bivol is ahead by 60-54 on Harold Letterman's unofficial.
Like that, either you won't be here in the end or we'll get the victory. In other words, you're sure to lose.
I'm wondering if he's cutting it a little too fine, trying to be perfect. There's a right hand over the top by
fight Bivol.
Has the power to knock Bivol out.
Right.
Even if he were to make a colossal mistake, I just don't believe that would happen.
You just saw Bivol.
Energy.
Much better Lemba than the first 4.
It's begun to limit Bivol's offense, and meanwhile there's Elader Alvarez, has lived in Montreal ever since the beginning of his professional career after having represented Colombia. Stevenson not terribly interested in supporting the competitive structure of the sport. Have it through 7.
Okay, Jim, I got it 7-0, 7-3, Dmitry Bivol. You know, Jim, he's landing the hardest shots. They're pretty close. You know, in other words, they both landed the same amount of punches, but Dmitry Bivol...
Based on their psychological profiles coming into the fight, but Roy Jones has done a good job.
Also, Jim, the way the fight began with Bivol being better at all the things Chilemba...
And forced Kovalev to go the distance, even though Kovalev floored him early and dominated the fight.
In such a way, they're fencing in such a way that it appears that... I think it depends on, you know, we have to wait and see what happens here. If Bivol can think early simply because Bivol had the upper hand, who made his own adjustments, that Bivol would then have to adjust to. Levin Barrera, if he did it against here, again here.
8 rounds, they go to the 9th of a scheduled 12. Round by round shutout for Bivol. Next round, for the first time in the fight, Chilemba actually outlanded Bivol, landing 9.
No longer dictating everything that's happening in there. And
going to end matters if he had landed it, but it was a glancing blow. Spectacular shape to be able to bounce and circle this way constantly from round to round.
Yes, defensively, you know, he slipped a punch and Chilemba's way off balance through a wild right hand.
Out of 34. And Bivol lands a quick little left hook and lands a hard right hand. Very good round for Dmitry Bivol. Chilemba's corner.
I think
he'll be joining us for the main event.
I think effectively.
Fast combination by Bivol. Hard shot by Chilemba. Hard shots that Bivol was able to land.
You'd expect he can absorb shots, maybe better with a little extra weight.
Again, Bivol had to work this hard for 11 full rounds. Several rounds ago, we visited Sergey Kovalev's dressing room and can take another look to see how it is in Kovalev's dressing room and then in the opponent Alvarez. There's Sergey, the crusher, back to the scene of one of his great amateur. A later Alvarez crushed his knuckles on the right hand at Hotel and Casino here on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. And the scene of tonight's doubleheader on HBO's World Championship Boxing. Promoter Kathy Duva told us that she sold out at 4:30 this afternoon. So the first major boxing card in Atlantic City in nearly 4 years is a sell. And we asked Kathy who bought the tickets that produced the sellout tonight, and she said it's the guest.
An audience for the fights.
Since her husband's unfortunate demise, just a middle person, she's a promoter, an old school type.
Hustling for...
And Lou Duva in the corner.
Nice ring. Compelling us to discuss the action in the ring.
No, he's playing out the string right.
The belts, all those things. Well, the bar is set very high. And
Isaac Chilemba, who came in
spectacular. But I think that's what we're here for. We have our eye on Bivol because we think he can be spectacular.
And it's interesting.
Okay. We came to a point now, we got to knock him out.
And a left hook. Finish it with a left hook.
Be careful. Don't take too many risks. Jones bluntly telling Isaac Chilemba. Now, interesting that Harold Letterman is giving both the last 2 rounds to Chilemba. After 9 straight rounds for Bivol. Continues his streak through 11 rounds here tonight of limiting the opponent to...
Over the first 3 rounds, he looked like a guy who people would start to say, boy, you know.
5-pound weight advantage coming into the ring might have something to do with it.
And Bivol maybe is still a little... The most impressive thing about Chilemba is the adjustment to reestablish his own kind of rhythm and distance and timing so he could also land some of his shots.
6 seconds.
Just to be here has been an act of monumental endurance and perseverance for Isaac Chilemba. Bivol landing 87 of 100. More to the show, of course, than CompuBox numbers would agree about the 12th. But at the end of the day, fights. Let's take a look at the final CompuBox numbers. Total punch. Power shots, Bivol landing 51 more. Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official scores.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at the Hard Rock Hotel Casino of Atlantic City, we go to the scorecards after 12 rounds. All 3 scores go to the winner by unanimous decision. Still the undefeated WBA Light Heavyweight Champion of the world, Dmitry Bivol.
Interesting look on Bivol's face as he heard the score from Judge George Hill, who had it 8 rounds to 4. Both other judges 12 rounds to nothing, and it looked as though Bivol probably agreed
4 competitive rounds that you, if you were generous, could have given to Chilemba.